Hello friends! So I wanted to share a video with you today about one of the treatments that you can use for an ankle sprain. Now, I'm sharing this video as I'm going to show you a taping technique that you can use. And what I would say about this before I show it to you is this is by no means one of the only things that you can do for an ankle sprain, but this is one way that I know in my family I would use that if Marie or one of my kids or family members had a minor sprain. That said, it's no substitution for going to see your doctor if you think there's something more seriously wrong. But if you're like me, sometimes if your kids have a minor injury, we won't always go see a doctor about that. So this is one way that you can provide relief, get them back to functioning a little bit more quickly if they have a minor sprain. Now, all that to say, the way to treat a sprain has kind of changed. The research has shown that they recommend some different treatments. For the longest time, the biggest treatment right after an ankle sprain would have been to rest it, ice it, compress it, and elevate it, and stay off of it, even to the point of crutches. But now, the more recent research is with ankle sprains, they want you up on it more quickly, walking more normally more quickly, so this is one way that you can facilitate doing that. So what I wanted to share with you is a way that you can tape for that. Now, this is also by no means the only way that you can tape for an ankle sprain. This just happens to be one of my favorite ways to tape for it. So, Miss Marie, will you scoot back a little bit for me so your feet are hanging off? Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do, scoot back just a little bit more, is I'm gonna take my tape, and the type of tape that I use comes in one continuous roll. So there are tapes that come in a pre-cut strip, but I'm gonna use one that comes in a continuous roll. And the way I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 3 different strips. The first 2 strips are gonna be the exact same length. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of go by her ankle size, and I'm gonna go just above the ankle bones here. The malleoli on both sides is about how long I'm gonna cut my strip. So I'm going the same height on either side here, okay? And then what I'll do is I'm gonna double that over because I know I'm gonna cut 2 strips about the same length. All right, and then I'm gonna cut that strip. And one important thing is if you buy a tape that comes in a continuous roll, is when you're trimming off the ends, it's always a good idea to round the edges. That'll keep the tape staying on a little bit better and longer. And one of the things I would also do if I'm going to tape somebody is I will use rubbing alcohol to clean off the area, to prep the skin. That way the tape will last longer and stick better. Now, that said, I already know that Marie doesn't have any allergies to adhesive or latex. That would be something important to find out about your kiddo. So you can always do a pre-test strip on a very low sensitive area of skin to make sure that they don't react to it. So those are my first 2 strips. Then I'm going to do another strip that's going to go behind her ankle like so, and so I'm going to measure that to go about to the middle of her foot on either side, and then I'm going to cut that piece here. Fold that and round the edges on that. Like so. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, and one thing to note is not all ankle sprains, but the overwhelming majority of sprains happen on the outside of the foot right here. So this is definitely modifiable if you happen to have a sprain on the inside of the ankle. Those tend to be more serious though, and I would definitely have a doctor look at that for sure. So again, what we're gonna do is we're gonna tape to kind of support this outside of the ankle. And what I'm gonna have Miss Marie do, and actually I'm gonna zoom this video in so you can see more closely to her ankle. Okay, so with my first 2 strips, what I'm going to be doing is I'm gonna be starting my tape on the inside of her ankle and going up into the outside. So my first strip, what I'm gonna do is the ends of the tape I refer to as anchors. So they are about 1 inch long. I'm gonna tear off the paper backing like so to expose one anchor, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start, if it's hard to see from here, I'm gonna be starting on the front of her ankle bone right here and going under her foot. So I'm starting on the front of her right ankle bone, and I'm just in front of it. I'm gonna lay this down with no stretch on it. Then I'm gonna take her foot, I'm gonna have her pull her toes back and make sure that her foot's not turned in or turned out. It should be going straight up, that's important. Then from there, I'm gonna let the paper backing peel off. I'm going to put just a little bit of tension, probably about 25% tension on that tape. I'm gonna go under her foot, about an inch in front of her heel. Okay, I'm gonna lay it down, making sure that I'm mindful that there are no wrinkles in the tape. And then I'm going to go behind this ankle bone here. So if you can turn your foot just a little, Marie, still keeping your toes up. Okay, I'm gonna lay that tape down with just a little bit of stretch just behind this ankle bone, laying it down, being mindful of any wrinkles. And then I'm gonna go up this, just right up the side of her leg. And then when I get to that inch left point, like so, there's just an inch left of tape, I'm gonna make sure that gets laid down with absolutely no stretch. Okay? Then, it's always important to rub the tape because it activates the adhesive. Now on an ankle sprain, this part here is gonna be tender, so just be careful on that. Okay, so that's our first strip. Second strip, same idea, tearing the anchor piece, like so, to leave about an inch. Now this time, instead of starting on the front of this ankle bone, I'm going to start behind this ankle bone. So my second strip will start behind this ankle bone. I'm going to go just about the same height. I'm going to lay it down just behind that ankle bone, and it can touch the ankle bone, that's fine. It doesn't have to be fully behind it. Okay? I'm going to have Miss Marie pull her toes back, keep her foot straight. I'm peeling back the paper backing, again, being mindful, it's hard for you to see this, being mindful that I'm not getting any wrinkles on the tape. It's gonna overlap this first piece like so, and then this one's gonna come up and go in front of this outer portion of that bone. So again, I'm laying it down, being mindful of all my wrinkles, 25% stretch until I get to that last inch, and then I'm gonna lay that down with no stretch, okay? And then I'm gonna also rub that down like so, okay? That's piece number 2. Piece number 3, last one. This one, I'm gonna tear it a little bit differently. So this piece, what I'm gonna do, and this is gonna be the one that's gonna go like so over her foot to kind of anchor everything down and support the whole ankle. I'm gonna tear it almost like you would think a Band-Aid. I'm gonna tear it in the middle of the paper backing and expose a little over an inch. And then I'm gonna have her pull her foot up, and I'm gonna come just above her heel to lay that little piece down. So her foot again is in a nice, good, neutral position. Above the heel, over the Achilles tendon. Okay, I'm gonna lay that down with very little stretch. And then I'm gonna put, again, about 25% stretch. And this is gonna feel really good to that ankle, is I'm gonna run this right across where that big sprain part is. So, whoop, I let go of the paper backing. Let me put that on there. You don't wanna touch the adhesive if you can avoid it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this piece, 25% tension until I get to that end inch, and then lay that down with no stretch. And I'll be doing the exact same thing on this other piece, is I'm gonna lay that down with about 25% stretch, with the exception of that last inch. Lay it down, and then again, I'm going to rub the adhesive to make sure it sticks really well. And that's it. So what you'll notice is on the inside of her foot, these pieces are a little shorter than on the outside. That's intentional because this is where I want most of the support, since this is where her sprain would be. Okay, so here's our finished product. And one of the things I wanted to point out is this is by no means the only way that you can tape for an ankle sprain. There are several other different ones, but this is the one that I really like. I in fact just used this on a client this past week. She had a pretty significant sprain and she was able to return back to function right away. It gave her a ton of relief. So I would not use this as a substitute to visit with a doctor if the sprain looks serious, if there's a lot of swelling, a lot of bruising, a lot of inability to function or bear weight on it. Definitely go see a doctor and make sure you have a fracture ruled out with an x-ray. But On a more minor sprain, when you need or want your kiddo or loved one to get back to function more quickly, this would definitely be appropriate. I would definitely recommend using it. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to put them in the comments under this video. And I hope you found this helpful. So thank you very much.
Bye.